Hi, I'm Janine. I'm the owner of Key and Clover. I have a very last minute unboxing today. I did not know when to expect this package to come, but it came today and I had a little bit of time, so I was like, I'm just gonna film this unboxing because I really, really want it. So today I have the Marigold Tarot. It was a Kickstarter campaign by Amrit Brar. I really hope I said her name right. It's kind of intimidating, but and I can post a link to below the Kickstarter. I don't know, whatever I find, I'll just link it below. There will be some available on her website. She did mention that. So this isn't really. This is the level that I donated at. I honestly just pulled it out of the box because I didn't think there was any shrink wrap. I just wanted to keep everything like as perfect as it was. So I have no idea. This is the tarot reading cloth. There were other options. I don't know. She might sell some of the other stuff she had made, but I have the deck in this and the tarot reading cloth. So I'm just gonna get to it because there's nothing like. Okay, so this is the cloth. I was really excited about it because I'm just thinking, I didn't really talk about, it's really beautiful. Looks like it's Indian inspired. There's a lot of gold. I think it says like gold and death, life, death, and gold are like kind of the main themes. And it's really pretty, black, white, gold for the deck. And it really caught my eye. I'll kind of go through some of the pieces that I saw. I think I found out about it through Instagram. But yeah, okay, so it's black with, ooh, so cool. So this came out really cool. I'm really excited. I kind of love that it's not specifically marked as being part of the Marigold Tarot because now I can use it for other readings that I may just use Rider-Waite-Smith deck with, but this is very cool. I'm glad I did this option. I will say there is another deck option, which was to get the gold sides, I think, which I was really interested in. I just didn't really have the money. I'm in classes, so I didn't really have the money to upgrade it. Okay, so I wasn't sure if these were shrink wrapped, but they are. So that's nice. But now I need to open it, and I did not grab my little piece of wire that seems to be my jam. I'm in my cross space, so knitting needle much? I do. Let's see. Just gotta. So hopefully that's enough. Yeah, it is. Okay. A 78 card deck rooted in life, death, and gold is what it says. Illustrated by Amrit Brar. You could see the little screen of my iPad in the reflection. That's funny. So the deck it actually looks pretty cool. Let me see if I can get this. Sorry, the box looks very cool. I do not see the deck yet. But it's actually really cool. Really nice design, I would say. And there's the back, side, top, and then the bottom's just the same. So I'll try to get this open. Trying to not like spill it all over the floor because I definitely dropped my cards all over the ground yesterday, so let's try to avoid that if possible. So this is like a really stiff box to open. I don't know if it's because it's not very crooked. I thought maybe it was just the way the top was. So it's pretty nice. It's like a pretty thick box. And I like that it's shiny, glossy. Looks really nice. So this is the back of the deck, which I love. I think that might have been one of the things I saw initially that I was like, oh man, like I need this deck. So it doesn't look like there's any way to know if it's upright or not. It looks like it's just the same, which is fine for me. I don't read reversals. Some people don't use that when reading reversals to know like which way is upright, and some people do use that. I don't know. So you can't differentiate the top from the bottom, if that matters to you. Let's see if I can. I need this needle back again. So right away I can see the Fool card, which looks pretty cool. I do see right away that there isn't a little white book, which I know that she's planning on doing a book to go with it, but there's also like not really any. There might be on the Kickstarter, maybe I'll check and see, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of direction with these cards. I know a lot of times when it's a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's a lot of transfer over, but you know, it'd be nice, just saying. So there's the Fool and the Magician. I'll just put these right. Oh wait, is there? No, it's just stuffed. I thought maybe there was something. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a little step in there almost. Also, would have been nice to have a ribbon pull out. Just saying, maybe for next run, because it's just nice to have where you can just pull it and it will kind of pop out. So Magician, the High Priestess, I like that. It looks, so she has like a pomegranate in her hand, and flowers, which is cool. The Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant. So we see, you know, like in these there's death because they're all skeletons. Gold is the color. I see life in the experiences. I don't really see a lot of life otherwise. So the Chariot on a bicycle. Interesting. It looks a lot out of place for me, but Strength. The Hermit. So I won't show all of the cards. I'll just maybe see if there's anything. I thought they looked really interesting. Temperance is kind of interesting. Here, there's like bat wings on this character. And pouring a pitcher into a bowl. I guess right away the imagery I'm not super in love with. I like the tower. This is pretty cool. Star is pretty nice. Got this nice skull. I like the imagery. I like the style. I don't like that these are basically the same card, especially because the star and the moon are very different, how I read them. So seeing them being, it's a little close. So what is this, Judgment? The World. Oh, I like the World. I like the teeth and the little bat. So, what I will say is I don't love that it seems to be more of a Marseille deck, because so here we have wands, and the wands are just plants. There's not like a lot of indication as to what this means. It's just plants. And so there is a deck that does do that, but it's not really I don't know. I think especially with it not having a little white book, It's a little disappointing because I would like to see what these mean, and without that, I don't really know what the illustrator's going for. I will say I do like the Queen of Wands. Here we do have the sunflowers. That's, you know, kind of in keeping with it. The Ace of Cups is pretty nice. I like that card. I think it looks cool. I don't know what's inside of the skull, but something is. I don't know. It's kind of just all the same. It's just a bunch of skulls. Nothing really, yeah, nothing really like stands out as anything impressive. It's just like all skulls. For cups, it's just all the same. I think especially with this 10 of Cups, I would say there's definitely a meaning to the 10 of Cups, and nooses aren't involved in it. I'd like to see the rationale behind it. So here's kind of what is going on. So like, I love this, right? For 3 of Swords. Yep, an anatomical heart. It's a really nice design. Like, I really love the border. Like, I haven't mentioned it, but like, I love this border. It is beautiful. But it's close. It is not identical. I love the anatomical heart, but it's close. It's close to the 3 of Swords. But 4 of Swords, like, it doesn't really come close to indicating. So it's like, yeah, some of these designs are pretty interesting. I love teeth. And I like that that's on here, but it doesn't, I mean, if you don't know, that would be hard to read with. I mean, even now it's like, well, what is 8 of Swords? Like, I think I know what it is. But this doesn't help you. So unless you really know, or you plan to really study the little white book, it's a little difficult. So like, it looks like we have, instead of coins, we have rings. Like, look at this card. This looks really cool. I really like this card. But then the 2 of Rings, 2 of Pentacles. And see, this is like, I struggle with this a little bit because this looks, the 2 of Pentacles, for me, this looks like, that was my cat. For me, it's like holding hands, a relationship, like what's going on here. But that's not what the 2 of, come here. You're just gonna scream at me? She might just scream at me. Hopefully she stops. So this to me does not really say balance. It looks more like a relationship. And that's fine, but it just, I don't know. It just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. 4 of Rings, it doesn't really speak to, you know, the 4 of Pentacles. So while it's cool to look at, it's not, it's hard that there's no book for it and that we're gonna have to wait for it because it doesn't really follow, the imagery doesn't really follow the imagery used in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but also it doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't have to, but it's, if you don't know what these cards are, if you aren't already familiar with them, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And even with some of the major arcana, they're not as in line. And I mean, they don't have to be, but I wish that they were a little closer because there isn't a book and it's just helpful. But again, if you are learning to read intuitively, that's how I learned to read, then if you're learning to read intuitively, I mean, you could kind of make up your own system. It's just hard because you would have no way to know because there's no guidebook. There's no little white book. Excuse me, I just burped. So, I mean, it's a pretty deck. It'll look nice in pictures, but that's kind of all I've got at this time, which I don't love because I'd like to be able to do readings with it. It's a very pretty deck. I like the artwork. I think what it is I like the artwork, but there's kind of there isn't the imagery in it that I would prefer so that I can do, so I can get more kind of like messages out of it, so I can get more out of it. So, okay. Four of Rings would be the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Like, this doesn't say to me, like, hold on to your money. Be aware of your money, you know? Like, this just... And that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact, but just not knowing what that is, it's a little underwhelming. But, like, I like this art, but, like, what does this mean? It's just a hand. It's just a hand with 5 rings, the 5 of Pentacles. So, I don't know. It's a pretty deck. I would say if you're looking for something to take pictures of, or just have, that's really pretty. I think it's a beautiful deck. I really like it. There's one that's gonna have gold on the edges, but until we get something that tells us more about it, it's kind of, I guess the imagery just doesn't really speak to me, which is fine. It doesn't have to. I just usually, I prefer something that says a little bit more about it. Images that say more about what the meaning is. So, oh, how funny. So I pulled out the Two of Cups, and this is the Two of Cups. I mean, I guess that's kind of close. It's not bad. There's two. You can see there's, you know, some kind of relationshipiness going on. But it's just, it's a little plain for me. It's a little bland. I don't read, of course I have this right here. I don't read Marseille decks because it's just a little bland for me. Like, this is pretty cool. I like this. But because, like, honestly, like, it's just, it's not that it's easier for me, it's just that, like, it makes more sense to my brains. If I see this picture and I go, okay, it's this. Sometimes I get different things out of them, and sometimes I just read them traditional meaning, but, I mean, this doesn't really, 8 of Pentacles, like, fingers crossed, I think it's, 8 of Pentacles. To me, this looks like hope, wishing for something, like having faith in something, right? Because you're crossing your fingers, a little bit superstitious, which in my mind could not be farther from 8 of Pentacles, which is hard work, being an artisan, honing your craft, sharpening your skills, not getting discouraged. Like, these are not compatible at all for me. Maybe it's based on a different deck. Maybe it's not Rider-Waite-Smith. That's okay too. It's just not really resonating with me. Maybe once the book comes out, and I kind of have a better idea of what the illustrator's thinking, that would be cool. Otherwise, it's pretty. It's really pretty. It's a lot of work to make a deck, and I don't draw. I don't know that I have the art skills. I think I just wish there would have been a little bit more depth to some of these images. But if you like really plain stuff, then not plain. If you like Marseille, why can't I say this? I took French. Like, Marseille decks, then this one would be a good option. Marseille decks that have the minor arcana, because some just have major. But, you know, it's alright. A little underwhelmed, a little... I wish, I was hoping for something different, I think, but it's a cool looking deck. I'll definitely take pictures for Instagram, and that's cool. I do really like the reading cloth. I think that is really, really nice. I don't remember how much I paid. It was in Canadian dollars too, so who knows, but I think this is pretty nice. I'm pretty excited for this. So, yes. I wish I was a little more excited, but, you know, not every deck is for every person, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd love to know what you think of the deck. Does it matter to you that there's no, that, you know, the minor arcana is kind of all the same? Do you have a preference on the major arcana and it being more similar or less similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck? Let me know what you think. I'm really curious because I love buying the stylized decks. I love buying like specialty decks, but I have a bunch of decks, but I can't help but come back to my Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I learned on. I think it just gives me the best answers. I do have different decks and I'll use them different times. Sometimes when I'm out in an event, I might want to have something more uplifting and positive, and I'll reach for that deck that for me is that. This is very like, let's get down to the facts. Like, what do you need to know? Like, what actionable information can I get? This is my go-to because it is the easiest for me. So let me know what you think. I'm really curious to know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.